Testing, testing. 1 2 1 2. Testing, testing. 1 2 1 2. Hold on. Testing, testing. 1 2 1 2. Thank you, thank you. Testing. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much. And welcome to Geezy Truth News. Yes, thank you very much, everybody. Believe it or not, it is January 30th, 2019. That's right. It's crazy, yeah. It's coming up to the end of the month. It's about to start February. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of problems. We got a lot of complaining. We got a lot of things to talk about, and the day ain't getting any shorter. So let's begin. I don't even know where to start, but let me tell you, lots of crazy things happening. Hold on, let's see. Looks like my technical engineers, just for 1 second here, I'm getting a cue here that there may be some technical difficulties on tonight's show. Well, we've all heard it all before, right, Houston? All right, well, thank you very much. And I heard one of our viewers is happy birthday. So happy birthday to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, so tax season, everybody. Taking care of everything. Where do we begin? Okay, first of all, as always, we always got to talk about the main dilemmas at hand. Number one, pedogate. Number two, and the Fed. These are the number one things, and that's really all that needs to be talked about. Unfortunately, there's a lot of discontent, a lot of people complaining. There's a lot of people saying, Donny Boy this, Donny Boy that. Look, we've all heard it before. There's no action. Uh, we'll talk about all the stuff. I mean, haven't heard from the Q posts since I believe like January 14th or before that or something like that. So it's definitely been more than a couple weeks. And yeah, so number one, the pedogate thing. Lots of updates on that apparently. Pedogate, Pizzagate, all this stuff, all these corruption scandals, all these things. The two-tier system, the massive amount of corruption, the massive amount of, all this bologna sandwich talking about all this stuff going on. It's crazy. It's crazy because you have these people getting convicted. You see these, his Donny Boy's people getting convicted. Just recently, Roger Stone just got into it. And here's the thing. Because, you could call it a two-tier system, you call it corruption, you could call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is there's people playing by different rules here. And so, in case in point, you look at Comey, you look at HRC, you look at all these, you see all these corrupt people, and there's evidence of them testifying incorrectly, treasonous, felony to lie under oath, it's perjury and all this stuff, and they all get away with it, or there's some kind of, I don't know what's going on. Last time I heard there's the foundation was being indicted, and there's different people talking about all that, but again, no word. Most recent is the Stone kerfuffle. And here's the thing. They get away with the Comey and the HRC and all these people. They get away with these felonies, and then you have people who they pushed, like Michael Flynn and Papadopoulos or whatever that other guy's name is, and now Stone and all these other people. They're really trying to crack it down. So that's the whole thing. So anyway, they just reopened a few days ago. They reopened the shutdown. Reopened the government temporarily. So the government shutdown was still going on. It's the longest, record, which was, just broken. And the thing is it's a temporary reopen. So I believe on the 15th, February 15th, it's going to close back down. People are saying that who won, someone won, this and that, Donny Boy losing. Look, everybody understands that this is the whole 4D chess, 5D, whatever you want to call it. All these crazy things going on. But as soon as the 15th, unless there's some kind of action, it closes back on the 15th. And that's what's happening. In other news, the State of the Union was obviously canceled, but is going to open. It is going to happen, the State of the Union, on, I believe, February 5th, the following Tuesday. Yeah. And it's going to be at the House. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, she opened up the House for February 5th for Donny Boy to speak the State of the Union. So there's that. Now, the QA, all these things. There's a lot of people talking about all this stuff. So apparently, the Vatican runs everything. The Pope runs everything. All these people, all this pedogate stuff, all this. Who knows what's going on here? Nobody knows at surface value because nobody is. There's been whistleblowing and there's been some. I don't know how they obviously have a very tight grip on these cardinals, dioceses, whatever. These people, these pedogate people. Look, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, and what they're saying on around February, they're saying that they're going to attempt to arrest the Pope for treasonous charges and all this. Who's they? I mean, the international police, the international tribunals. I mean, look, we've been talking about all this stuff for a while, and it's still droning on. It's still droning on for quite some time. So the pedogate, number one, pedogate. Gotta find the evidence, trial, jury, convictions, Yeah, that's the number one thing. Number two, end the Federal Reserve. I mean, this is ridiculous. It just keeps going up and down. It's complete fakery. It's complete corruption. Complete massive amount of so many scandals and so many huge problems is crazy. And Jerome Powell, people just keep listening, and I don't know when Donny Boy's gonna fire him or what the deal is on all that. So we got a bunch of, and just like everything else, there's the and the number. So the number one, number two, and then the rest of the stuff falls into order. You got to put term limits in the Congress. You got to establish. You have to take that charter out that said that pharmaceutical companies cannot be sued and cannot be attacked because there's the pharmaceutical drugs, because they have this law enacted. It's crazy that they have immunity from all courts, which is ludicrous, obviously, and anybody could tell you that for a fact. So here's a couple of things. First of all, and like everything else, everybody knows this. The inequality income is still, the gap is getting larger and larger. Everybody knows that. Top 1%, blah blah blah. You got the same old sneezy going on. I mean, the same old sneezy. We've all been talking about all this same stuff over and over again. Jerome Powell said that he's gonna pause the interest rate hike, and supposedly that's what's given them the Dow Jones going up in the points. It went up like 350 points or 450 or something. Really, it's ridiculous. And to say that because of that is why that is, I mean, just yesterday it dropped 3,400. Today it goes up 3,400. I mean, how long can people deal with this? It's quite shocking. But you know what? That is, unfortunately, if you can believe it, that is the least of our problems. And that is what's pretty ridiculous about that. So here's, we got Mike and Tom over there on the twiddling the dials and updating the sites. Looks like, go ahead, and the sources should be up in there. And so, in other news, I mean, wow, there's a lot of crazy things going on, okay? You got the Yellow Jackets, you got our government problems, you got the Venezuela situation, you got, the trade war situation. I mean, you got all these, and callers call in. The phone lines should be open. If there shouldn't be any problems with that, with the network today. So, again, everything is very overvalued. Everything is, we're all in debt. Just a recent report came out saying that 50% of United States citizens and Canadian citizens, 50% of U.S. and Canada of the population is close, if not about to file bankruptcy. So that's how there's ridiculous things going on. I mean, the fact that they're saying, you go on Market Watch, and they're saying that the economy is booming, the economy is doing good, that this and that, gold star rating. Wow, gold star rating. The economy is at a gold star rating, ladies and gentlemen. However, 50% of the United States and Canadian citizens are close to bankruptcy. So tell me that, Jerome Powell, or tell anybody what's going on here. And callers, call in for anybody who has any information or answers. Is the whole thing about it all. And again, the global warming thing, I mean, we're going to have to just scatter everything around here. I mean, everything is just ludicrous. What's happening with the global warming? Things are supposed to be getting hotter. Things are supposed to be getting more ridiculous. But what's happening is that we're having a record level freezing temperatures. And not record, because you could look back in our stats, and it's been cold like that before. So it's not, and then they try to confuse you and say, well, the cooling is the warming, and it's all just, It's all what George Orwell said in the 1984 is just the speak talk, the two talk, the one thing is the complete opposite and all this stuff. So, and that's what they're trying to do with the SJWs and all these. It's really fascinating. And of course, people are complaining left or right. I was talking to an associate of mine the other day, and he was saying that as a small business owner, he's saying that he doesn't have any. He has to not break the law. Not, I mean, you could call it a loophole if you want, but it's really wrong. In order for him to break even or to be smarter about his taxes and his business taxes, he has to stay in debt than to stay atop. So if you're breaking even and staying on top of things, you'll end up paying more taxes than as opposed to if you just keep in debt and then they reward you. And as we've all known before, they reward people in debt. They try to reward people with debt, and people who are not in debt they shun and say bad things and give you a bad credit score and all this. And of course, the median line is very hard to achieve because either you're too much in debt and then they give you bad problems, and then or if you have no debt at all, which is bad problems. So you got to have this is the situation, and then they say again that the economy is a gold star. So you have all these problems. You have record temperatures of NASA saying global cooling, even though the global warming or the climate change, whatever they're going on about. And there's that's what's happening. The France over the yellow vests, what's happening all over there? It's been the 11th week. Today is Tuesday, so just the last weekend was the 11th week of protests over there in France. Things are getting heated up as always, getting bigger and bigger every week, and obviously they're getting more police officers. And Macron, I'm not sure what's going on with him, but the cojones, I'll tell you what, the cojones on Macron of not resigning is truly shocking and truly a red flag about what's to come, would be my best judgment. So that's the 2 cents on that. So hold on. That's what's going on. And of course, the medical industrial complex, all the same complexes are happening. Everything it's the same thing. So let's try it. Let's take a look at some other things over here, okay? So Tom and Jack over there are twiddling the dials and making things work over there. Another sad situation, but probably will turn positive, is the guy, the Sandy host, Jim Fetzer and Wolfgang Halbig. There's a ongoing defense in a lawsuit, it says, brought by parties in the Sandy Hook school shooting event. Also described the Connecticut court overreach while attempting to frustrate this defense. So they're going on about this. The official oppression of Wolfgang Halbig continues. So we'll see what goes on over there. And honestly, I think it'll be good. So it looks like we have a call over here. Hello and welcome to Geezy Truth News.
Geezy Truth News. Hi, long-time watcher, first-time caller. I just had a quick question. John Podesta announced yesterday that Hillary Clinton will not be running for president in 2020. I was wondering who do you think they're going to put up next?
Okay, well, there's a lot of people they're putting up next, and here's the thing. The problem with that is that John Podesta may have announced that she's not running, but the thing is that HRC didn't say herself that she's not running, and actually when asked herself, it said that it's not out of the question, and it's not off the books. So, and John Podesta is obviously in a world of hurt in himself. I mean, we all know the Pizzagate scandals and all the scandals, the emails with John Podesta. I don't know what end goal or what angle he's trying to go at, but he is not in a good position to be saying anything about anything whatsoever. So the fact that he's even in the limelight whatsoever is pretty shocking to begin with. And so if he said that she's not going, then okay, she's probably not going. I mean, obviously everybody knows it would be ridiculous if she went, if she tried going. So, but like I said, there's reports saying that it's not off the table. But again, 2020 for HRC would be just a joke and nothing to be worried about. And honestly, there's nothing to be worried about at all because they have nobody. So the question is, who are they going to put up next? There's a few candidates, and they're all pretty bad. You know, first of all, they're trying to put... So anybody that you've heard, like the Facebook CEO, all the top CEOs of the liberal medias, companies, different kinds of all that stuff. So for example, the Facebook guy, the CEO of Facebook, the CEO of they tried to run it. There's another guy that they're trying to run. They're trying to run that guy. They're trying to run Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon. They're trying to run. I mean, they have nobody. That's what they're telling you, is that they have nobody. If they're trying to get these people, these billionaire liberals, and they're trying to get the CEO of Amazon, CEO of Facebook, CEO of some other schleps company, some other CEO of potentially, actually, I think I heard CEO of Starbucks. And so I think they're trying to fight fire with fire, putting a liberal businessman up to compete with Donny Boy. But I'll tell you what people have been saying is that the best guy or the best person to have a chance in the Democratic Party is the lady from Hawaii. What's her name? I'm blinking on her name, but she's there. The Hawaii, the lady from Hawaii, the Congress lady from Hawaii, whatever her name. And people say she's good or whatever, but the thing is that they all sing and preach the same thing. And she's a career politician, and she last I heard a little excerpt from her saying that she wants everything that every politician ever says every time, that she wants more peace, she wants collectivism, she wants people to be brought together, she wants peace, she wants good stuff, she wants people to be good, she wants good things, blah blah blah. It's the problem now is that it's too late. It's too late to we gave you can't be mad about Donny Boy as nearly as much as about Congress, because Congress had every chance, all these years. I mean, think about all these years that they have no term limits. They have the Congress is the representatives that are appointed to talk about all this stuff, and they're not, and none of them have done anything to do it. There's a couple things that we'll talk about afterwards, but bottom line is that we gave too many chances to Congress, and now it's too late, and so we need to set up term limits. I mean, some of these Congress people have been in Congress for 40 plus years. These people are 70, 80 years old. You tell me they started at like 30, 40 years old, and they're still, to 30, 40 years later, 30, 40 years later, they're like 70, 80 years old, and they're still in Congress, still making decisions. Like that one famous quote has been said: if the people found out about what's really been happening in this country, there'd be a revolt the next day. And actually, I'm pretty sure Thomas Jefferson said that, and you could look that up. So, again, that's how things go. And people, I think Donny Boy is gonna win again. There's a lot of 4D, 5D chess. There's a lot of people talking about all this stuff. There's that new, I think we talked about it last time. The House proposed HR 25, Fair Tax Act of 2019, a bill that will destroy the IRS and the privately operated Federal Reserve forever. So I think that was introduced from a politician, for a Republican from Kentucky, I believe. But here is there's the information should be up over there. Unless there's going to be glitches, then we're going to have there's going to be some problems. So anyway, it's the same old sneezy. It seems like the good guys are winning. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's like it looks like people are winning. People are waking up. The internet should be given the truth. It seems like people are waking up more and more. And like JFK said, we want peaceful revolution, but if they don't give it to us, it's inevitable to turn violent. But again, nobody wants that. Everybody wants peaceful. Everything. Let's make sense here, people. You know, let's make things make sense over here. So that's really all. So that's about all the news I can gather, pretty much. I mean, what else is going on? You know, everything is going on. It's hard to talk about all of it at the same time. But bottom line is, you got the, are we going to join? It looks like we're getting involved with Venezuela. Very interesting encounters happening over there. It's kind of ridiculous. Look, there's a difference between dictatorship and if Maduro wants to put his foot down and take care of things, then let him do it. If there's probably evidence. If there's evidence of the U.S. engaging in, like what we've done before, we stick our noses in the name of democracy. Put a guy in who's this young guy, this 35-year-old guy named whatever his name, Juado or something, Jose Juado. They're putting him up as the new president in Venezuela. The problem is the military is with Maduro, and so are several other countries, including Russia and Turkey, and I believe a couple others. So whether that's going to be a proxy war, whether we want to really get involved there, obviously we don't want to. What the neocons are going to do is besides that. And again, none of this matters because we got bigger problems. We got to take care of the pedogate thing, and we got to take care of the Federal Reserve thing. Because that's the whole thing. It's all microcosm. What's happening is Venezuela is a microcosm of the macrocosm of the Federal Reserve. That's happening the whole planet. The U.S. is just going in Venezuela to stick the Federal Reserve to stick in Venezuela so they can go into debt and then be a debt slave. It's that simple. As opposed to, there's the communism. If they want, obviously there's a whole issues over there going on with the socialism, communism, and all that stuff in Venezuela and several other countries, and including our own. I mean, we have a huge socialist uprising here, and it's crazy because people don't see what that ends up. So what's going to happen is there's already problems in Venezuela. If we add our 2 cents in, there's going to be even more problems, and that's how it goes. So, and if you don't, and you have to address the root cause of the problem, which is the Federal Reserve in itself, the central banking system in itself, and once you get rid of that, everything will fall into place. Just makes sense. It has to make sense. If there's nothing there, you can't make it happen. Okay? If you inflate it and then deflate it, which is what central banking is, then you have depressions, you have economy crashes, you have people losing things, and that's when is that going to happen is a question in itself. Sometime soon, most people would say sometime soon. But they keep pumping it. Again, it goes back to the economy. Goes back to the Federal Reserve saying all this stuff. It's truly shocking that they keep it up like that. So, talked about pretty much everything in terms of gold markets, all that stuff. Let's take a look at the updates. Okay, it hit 25,000 today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Gold hit 1323. Crypto is at 3,496. And that's very, it's crazy because that's the economy is fake and propped up. Who knows what they're doing with the crypto? I mean, if they took full control of it, how much control? I mean, as far as I know, that there's only one bank controlled crypto in the coin market cap, or in the whole crypto economy market, and that's XRP. And I don't know if they changed it or has it always been XRP, but it used to be called Ripple. I don't know if it's still called Ripple and they just call it XRP now, but that's what it is. So you do not want to have anything to do with XRP is pretty much the thing. And so how much of they have a large share of the market apparently. Yeah, it's the second largest. So they're really trying. I think that's the whole thing, which is pretty disappointing. I mean, at 33 cents, people really just need to leave it alone and just get rid of it. But see, the fundamentalism of crypto is that you have to be gung-ho about it. You can't just make a profit about it. It's not about profit. It's about getting rid of the Federal Reserve, getting rid of the central banking system, getting rid of the fakeness, and trying to go legitimate. And as you can see, Ripple is owned by all the banks and by all the is backed by the banks and Microsoft and all the big names. I mean, any research that you'll look into it will just give you red flags all over. So you don't want to have anything to do with it. And whether that's dropping the price in BTC is probably the case. But again, when people find out about the knowledge, I think people are waking up. So either backed by gold or backed by crypto, whatever you can do, because again, you have to understand the USD is of course fiat. So, and speaking of which, we're still waiting on the BRICS, the SWIFT system, on the BRICS system. They're planning on creating a currency there. That is in the works. Brexit is also in the works. I marked it on the calendar. I don't have it off the top of my head, but they're leaving in March, end of March, I think, 27th or 28th or something like that. They're leaving, so that's happening in March. And yeah, that's about it. Lots of big deal. Everything is oversaturated. Everything is fake. Everything, all this and all that. They're banning guns, the vaccines, this problem, all of this is. It keeps becoming a bigger bubble, and we're just keeping it up, ladies and gents. Over here at Geezy Truth News, we're doing the best we can, Everybody's doing the best we can. Everybody's got to talk. Everybody's got to research. Everybody's got to talk about all this stuff. Everybody's got to know the truth. And I believe next week we may have a VIP, special guest. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll have a special VIP guest next on the following week. So stay tuned, everybody. Thank you very much for staying in tune. Keep updating everybody. Keep do your due diligence. Study up, and thank you very much. Geezy Truth News is out.